Geoff, look, you can't take him anywhere. I told you we shouldn't have brought him with us today.
But it is a bike show.
It is.
And this is the NEC International Motorcycle Show.
And for those of you that haven't been fortunate enough to make it to this year's show, come with us now for a little guided tour. Get off that bike, you. Come on.
Well, this is a show full of stars, and one of the stars is the Suzuki TL 1000R behind me. And Nick Barnes here of Suzuki UK, or Suzuki GB, is it, Nick?
Suzuki GB, yeah.
Tell me, this Suzuki, the new version of the R version, as it were, but it's running in parallel with the 1000S, isn't it?
It is, but that was always Suzuki's intention, to run two machines. One, the race replica, the TL 1000R, as we see, and the TL 1000S, which is the street legal sports version. The intention is to run this bike in World Superbike Championship in '99. So, of course, it's different. Noticeably different.
Yeah, very different. But before I get onto that, and just Scotch rumours and whatnot, because I wasn't part of this sort of slagging off of the TL 1000S anyway.
Thank you.
You know, I actually liked the bike as it was. And it's remaining unchanged other than the steering damper, isn't it?
Yes, I mean, it was all got perhaps a little bit out of hand in terms of the publicity surrounding the issue, and frankly, 99% of customers are happy with their TL anyway. But the TL 1000R was never a replacement for the TL 1000S. It is a totally new motorcycle.
Yeah, because you wanted to go superbike racing, but not in '98, so this is '99, is it?
No, I think they'll have a year developing the bike and then enter in '99. I think that's the plan.
Yeah. And interestingly, as much to prove as what you were saying, I'm not going to call you a liar, but it's still using this rotary damper that was a lot of talk about.
Yes,
and obviously you're happy with that.
Yes, indeed, there was a lot of talk, but I think the factory have proved that by committing the rotary damper to the TL 1000R, which is even more of a race machine than the S, and I think enough said on that.
Yeah.
I don't think we have a problem there.
No. And the other thing with it, I mean, you've increased the power as well. It's lighter. I mean, it's going to go like a rocket ship, isn't it?
Well, there is that, yes, of course. Suzuki want to offer their customers basically a choice. So, you know, in the Suzuki range, you can go for the four-cylinder GSX-R 750, or if you want to go for V Twin, then Suzuki can offer you either the S or the RTL 1000.
Drive at 40 kilometers per hour until you get the feel of the bike.
Well, can you believe it? It just had to happen, didn't it? Wayne at last on a bike. Not quite a real bike, but it's a new type of motorcycle simulator developed by
Turn
Honda.
right at the next traffic light. Drive at 40 kilometers per hour until you get the feel of the bike.
Kevin Williamson from Honda, just tell us, what on earth is Wayne doing on this bike? What's it going to achieve this?
Well, this is a Honda riding simulator that's been developed in our R&D department in Japan over the last 10 years. It's predominantly designed at trainees and inexperienced riders. It gives them the opportunity to experience everyday riding and the dangers that they can encounter on the roads, but in the safe environment of a classroom or at the NEC even, you know. So
how close is this to the real thing?
it's probably as close as you can get. It's I mean, we've got a feature there with wind blowing in the face. All of the controls are off a standard motorcycle anyway to keep it standard. It's probably as close as you can get to the real thing.
Well, this is the Aprilia, and something new, not a two-stroke, but a big beefy four-stroke, a V Twin at that, double overhead cam, all the toys. And this is Eric McFarlane with me. He's the man who's going to sell this, but I don't think you're going to have a lot of trouble selling these, are you?
I don't think so, Geoff. I mean, the initial orders we've had through the dealer network has been very encouraging. To say that the bike has only today been seen in the UK.
Yeah, because you get a certain feel about a bike, don't you? And I'm sitting on this one, and it just feels right. You know, it feels the business.
That's right. I think with many bikes, your first impression is often the one that sticks with you.
Yeah, and I said earlier, it's got all the toys, but this is a massive move for Aprilia, isn't it? You must be pleased to have a big four-stroke.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this will start the beginning of Aprilia's development in four-strokes for the next 10 years. I mean, the basis of this engine can be in any format from 600 to 1100cc. So this particular model is very, very important for the future development of the company.
What was the actual thinking to actually sort of go into this? Was it this to get a big splash of publicity and capture people's imagination then, was it?
No, the factory really have wanted it to come in fairly low-key, just sort of to sneak in, get in.
Sneak in with it?
Well, I know, I think expecting a little bit too much really, but I don't think they want it to come in and herald a great all singing, all dancing. I think Aprilia typically always do the talking on the circuit and on the roads.
Yeah. And so, and as you say, you've got a good record in racing circles, and it's been talked about, hasn't it? A racing version of this already.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The factory are going to be doing World Superbikes in 1999, and the rules now state that they can enter some selected races in 98, which is with a plan with the bike. So we're looking forward to that.
Incredible. And tell me, when can we actually get our hands on this?
These will be coming in at the end of April 98. The very first batch will be coming in. And what we've been saying to dealers at the moment, if anybody is interested in the RSV 1000, is to put a deposit down with the dealer. That will then be faxed up to our head office, and those customers will go on a priority list. Because we certainly expect demand to far outweigh supply.
Yeah, I bet you will. And what about on the all-important price business? I mean, everything's getting incredibly competitive. How do you intend to pitch this one?
We're still negotiating the price, but one thing I can confirm, it definitely on the road will be under 10,000.
Yeah, that's a hell of a bargain. Well, it appears a bargain. I mean, perhaps
Absolutely.
that's an early judgment.
Absolutely.
Will be these in Scottish pounds, will they, or are these
Scottish guineas?
Yeah, Scottish guineas. But English people can buy them as well. But I mean, I know you're uniquely based just outside Edinburgh, isn't it?
No, it's in Stranraer actually, on the west coast,
right
at the end of the earth.
At the end of the earth, not to worry. Well, Eric, thanks very much, and I wish you all the best.
Thanks very much, Geoff.
Well, that's the Aprilia stand, but all these activities aren't all in here. There are some outside.
Unfortunately, outside, the sun was shining on the righteous. I say righteous, of course I'm referring to bikers. Or should I say would-be bikers? Because a feature of this year's show was the opportunity for the complete novice to try and learn how to ride. There was a variety of machines available, complete with expert tuition. And most people got things right straight away, although one or two will need a little more practice.
Oh, sorry mate, I won't do it again, honestly. Fooled you, didn't I? This is a Richter one-piece suit. Richter stuff, it's from Belgium, and I've been doing this stuff for a long time, but I've never noticed that they've done a one-piece suit. So, new for 98 is this one-piece racing leather suit. And who better to tell me about it but the salesman who towers above me and sells to me in our shop, and that's Rod Brookes from Nevis Marketing. Rod, how's things?
Fine, Wayne, good morning.
Yeah, and it's nice to see you, even though you stood on a box again, aren't you? Right, tell us about this one-piece racing suit, mate.
Well, this is new from Richter for 1998. It's a one-piece suit. It's the first time we've done a one-piece suit in the UK. Now it comes complete with body armour. It's got hip, knee, elbow and shoulder protectors as well as a back protector. It comes in 3 colourways. You've got your black, yellow, black, red and a black with a graphite checkered flag over it.
Is it aimed for the racer or aimed for the road bike user on a racing style bike?
Well, a bit of both really. It comes complete with CE body armour, so it can be used on the racetrack, but it also be used by, you know, your standard boy racer on the roads, you know.
What about knee sliders then?
It comes complete with knee sliders.
Does it? Right.
Yeah, despite not being shown on there, they are complete with knee sliders. It would retail at £329 in the shops.
Which isn't particularly expensive for a one-piece suit, is it really?
No, and there's a good size range because, you know, sometimes people could struggle size-wise, and Reach are very generous sizes, so we're ranging it from 38 up to 52.
That's on the gents. What about the ladies?
Well, ladies is 10 to a 16, you know, so there's a good size range there, and I'm sure we could get you into a 16 ladies weight.
But see, what are you trying to say? I'm having a word with you about this. I've had a word with you about things like this before, haven't I?
So this is one of Yamaha's new babies, the new 600cc Phaser. Martin from Yamaha. Martin, this is, to me, forgive me for saying this, but it looks like a load of old Yamahas stuck together. I mean that in the nicest possible way.
Thanks. It certainly is a Yamaha. It's very unique in its design. Yeah. We have drawn a lot of the design styling from machines from the current range and from older machines, and the engine in fact comes from the YZF 600 sports bike. So you are right to an extent, but cobbled together isn't one of the phrases we use.
I didn't mean cobbled together. What I mean, it looks a bit TDM-ish. It looks a little bit XJ diversion-ish, it's a bit FJ-ish, it's a bit of everything.
Yeah, it's designed to appeal pretty much to a wide range of customers, from new bikers to guys who've been perhaps riding, or indeed ladies who've been riding for a number of years.
Right. And there's so many different brackets now of motorcycling coming out. There's retro bikes, sports tourers. This, I mean, what category would you class this as?
Would be edging towards all-rounder, roadster, sports touring. That's so. Yeah.
Right. So what's this going to be fighting against?
It's the biggest marketplace in the UK now. The biggest market class is the 600cc class. In there is some strong competition from the other manufacturers, including obviously the Suzuki Bandit and the new Honda Hornet.
Yeah, right. So, big question. We can't have one yet. When can we have one?
We're looking at deliveries for February 1998.
And the biggest question, how much is it going to be?
Price to be confirmed, but you'll be looking around about 4,700, 4,800, that sort of price range.
Well, that's it for part one. Join us in part two for some more beautiful new models. Welcome back to part two. You know, models and machinery, it just changes so fast these days, it's difficult to keep up with. Nearly every manufacturer has got something new to show us.
Well, there's plenty of fantastic bikes at the NEC show, as usual, but something that's not usual at all. In fact, it's something completely different, and it's this. And this not this fella here, because this is Andy Stevenson, the creator of this A.S.P. Doesn't stand for a snake either, does it, Andy?
It doesn't, no.
But I'm sure lots of people have said that.
It does.
But this wondrous device is Andy's own creation, handmade. Andy, tell us all about it, starting at this fantastic hub centre front end, if you could.
Okay, well, we've been building hub centre bikes for about 6 years now, as race bikes purely. But the first one ended up as a road bike, and really it was such a competent road bike, and we've had so many requests for people to actually produce a road bike that we decided, yes, we'd go and do it. My older brother was looking for a road bike for himself, so I said, well, okay, I'll build you this one. And then from there on it became our prototype, and now we're going to build them in limited numbers for people that can afford them.
With a massive price tag, I understand.
Well, it's not cheap, that is a fact.
The figure I've seen, 24,950 or something like that?
The figure is 24,950, that's including a 3-year warranty and all taxes.
Yeah, and so this is really going to be a sort of a special for the people who can really afford it then.
It's not for everybody,
no. But tell me, this front end, I'm interested in all these sort of technical bits. I remember Hossack did a front end like this, didn't they?
No, the Hossack wasn't a hub centre bike at all. That was a darn sight closer to an Earl's fork than a hub centre bike.
Was it?
Yeah. It did actually have a fork, but it was a pivoted fork. It wasn't like ours.
Ah, right.
Yeah, we don't have a conventional steering head at all. Our steering head is between here and here.
Yeah. And so, yeah, that's right. And the Hossack was more like the BMW telelever, wasn't it?
It is, yeah. It is.
And so, as you say, big hub centre set up here. This swing arm, this is all hand fabricated, isn't it?
It is, yeah. That's hand fabricated from sheets.
Right. And that's mounted on the front of the engine. There's no frame as such, is there?
No, we have a little subframe which holds the handlebars and the top suspension mount for the front suspension, and the rear top suspension mount.
Yeah.
And other than that, that is it as far as the frame's concerned.
And I hope you're not going to correct me on this one, but that's a Maxton coloured spring, so it's a Maxton suspension unit.
We use Maxton units.
Yeah.
No one has more experience in Maxton than pure road racing shock absorbers, and we figured that Ron really knows what he's doing. He's very well behind the project, and we figured we'd get the best results by using Ron's shock absorbers.
And so you've fabricated that rear swing arm, a cantilever job, looks very substantial, but lightweight as well, all in alloy.
It is very light, yes.
So, And is this ride also what I've picked up? Because I picked up the rumours and read some of the press. The wheels, are they handmade as well? Or I see you've riveted rims onto standard spokes, have you? What have you done there?
The wheels are Saxon wheels.
Yeah.
They are specials to us because we have a different front hub to a conventional one.
Right.
But they are actually an over-the-counter racing wheel.
All right. Okay, yeah, because I noticed the riveting there onto the actual rim itself.
Yeah.
And whose calipers are you using on the brakes? Are they Harrison?
They're Harrison calipers, yeah.
So and this fantastic bodywork as well, all carbon fibre.
It is, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all pre-impregnated carbon fibre. It's not wet laid like glass fibre, so it's incredibly tough and hard.
Yeah. And it's very, very wide at front. Now that's unusual, isn't it? In a lot of bikes, they've gone very narrow.
They have, yeah.
What's the reason for this very wide?
If you want to pass a rider through the air cleanly, you need to pass the air around the rider.
Yeah.
If the rider's exposed, then he's causing an awful lot of parasitic drag, which is not only going to slow the bike down, it's mostly it's going to make the rider uncomfortable. This is really for rider protection as much as performance aerodynamics.
Yeah. So have you done wind tunnel tests on this? Or is
No.
this
No, we don't use a wind tunnel. The reason being, a truly aerodynamic bike will not want to turn from side to side, and a truly aerodynamic bike will look like an egg and not be very pretty.
Right. And so what about testing of this? I know you've done a bit of road racing yourself on it, but not this actual one.
Not this actual one, no.
Has it been through a testing programme, this model itself? Or
this actual bike is about to begin its testing programme. A week after the show, it's going down to Spain to test on the Calafat racetrack.
Yeah. So
and
you're going down with it? You're going to give it a flat? Or?
I'm going to be the person doing the development riding.
Yeah.
And one of the stands likely to be the most well visited this week is the Triumph stand, Bruno Tagliaferri.
That's correct. Good morning.
I'm sorry about that. Right. Triumph Thunderbird Sport, this thing behind me. Beautiful. You've kind enough to let me ride one this year. How's it being received? Are people falling over themselves trying to get one?
Very well received. I mean, we've come out very early. We've come out in September with a new model, so we don't have the seasonality of the market, but we've already got them on the road. Every dealer's got a test bike. The tests have been favourable, and I think there's a lot of people that will be putting it on their shortlist of bikes for the new year.
Right, yeah. Well, you can put me down for one in spring, but I don't fancy cleaning all that chrome through the winter. But you've won a couple of awards as well this year, haven't you, Triumph?
Yes, we were fortunate through Motorcycle News to win the Manufacturer Award, and we also won an individual award for services rendered, which went to Mr. John Blaw.
Of course it did. That's right. And we've got another T-Bird Sport there with all the extras on it. That's the kind of standard one there, isn't it?
Yes.
And you've another one across the way with the full kit on it, the fly screen, single seat. Is that just about everything you can do to it?
Just about. I mean, we're always researching new accessories, but what we tend to do is offer the customers a whole range of accessories. That way they can personalise any machine they buy. Some of the accessories are functional, but some of them are cosmetic. But we've through the dealers, grown that business nicely in the last 12 months.
Right. Excellent. Well, I'm sure another 6 months down the line, there'll be loads of them down the country lanes, won't there?
I'm pretty sure there will be. We're certainly hoping so.
Quite a lot of products that you buy on the shelf nowadays are a mass of various different branded items, such as the protective materials on the elbows and shoulders, and such as the liner that you get inside it, and then possibly even the waterproof materials they use on the outside. There's absolutely loads of them. This Richter jacket, for example, has got tags on here to explain what it's got. Reflex, well, that's the material they use for protection and also to shine in the lights of the headlights on the shoulders here. And then the next item they've got is called hollow fill. Well, that's made by DuPont, and that's the item they stick on the inside to keep you warm. And then the next item after that happens to be the label indicating the CE approval, and it's got CE approval body armour. And then you've got Resa, which is the material they put after the outer liner of Cordura, but before the inner liner that you've got in here, and that's your waterproof breathable membrane. There's absolutely flipping loads of different pieces to make up the jacket. The same applies with other brands. This is a bearing jacket, and this in turn has got many labels to indicate the products, even a piece to show you the foil lining they use on the inside to keep you warm in the winter. A nylon item here, Cordura item on the shoulders and on the elbows. They think of everything, and they use a lot of very good quality products, and this is what goes to make up your waterproof winter items.
One of the big growth areas in motorcycling at the moment seems to be the cruiser market, and just one of the manufacturers offering a wide range of cruisers is Kawasaki. This is Geoff Selvidge from Kawasaki. Geoff, you've got loads and loads of cruisers. Just tell us what you've got in your range of cruisers.
Well, as you rightly say, Paul, it is a growth area, and so we're starting out now with a new 125, the BN 125, which we're showing for the first time to the public here at this show. That'll give somebody the opportunity to get on the bikes at a very early stage. They can take the tests on that. They can progress through then to the EL 250, 252 it's got on the side, which is something to do with the French, I think, but there you go. But that's a 33 horsepower bike, so you can get onto that and ride that on the restricted license. They're more sort of, we call them eliminator style, so they're like a drag style bike. If you then want to go, with the best respects to Harley, the whole hog, and get over onto the full cruiser, the full dresser cruiser, you can then progress through a 500cc twin-cylinder machine. That's a parallel twin as we understand it. And then on to the V Twin motors, which in most people's eyes is the only way that you should have a cruiser configuration, with 800cc machines, 1500cc machines, and now with this one behind us, the new classic cruiser as well.
Yeah, this is your brand new all singing, all dancing, isn't it? It seems to be that the bike, I mean, cruisers seem to me to be people who are coming into motorcycling maybe for the first time, and maybe the reborn bikers. The cruiser is like the classic bike style, isn't it? Is that the kind of people who buy these things? Yeah, well,
it's classic bike style. I mean, you could argue that's more like the traditional British bike, but I think certainly the style image of cruisers, I mean, people have looked at Harley and they see that, and it's coming through, obviously, through all the American films and what have you, and it's very American styling, and people like that.
Exactly.
And, you know, with cruiser bikes, they're less intimidating. You know, if you're not used to riding a motorcycle fast, you can get involved with a peer group these days. You can get onto a sports bike, and you might feel a little bit uncomfortable if you're not as good as your mates. With a cruiser, it's individual style, and that's what people are buying, really.
So this is the brand new 1500cc top of the range, full Monty. How much is that one going to cost?
That one, the price is going to be in the £9,000 category, which is pretty good value considering that what you see is what you get.
When you look at that, extras. You know, £9,000 for all that. You know, it's just compared to other manufacturers. I won't mention the name, but you've got to be paying £5,000 more than that to get anything that looks nearly as good as that, haven't you?
Yeah, well, it's very much a question of how you do your pricing, your economies of scale worldwide. I mean, we can sell that at that kind of price bracket, and you know, we're happy with it. The customer's happy with it, and it's at the end of the day, we're here to make a living selling motorcycles. We can survive with it, so you know, we'll pass that on to the customer.
Well, that was just some of the delights of this year's NEC Bike Show. And in next week's Two Wheels Better, Wayne takes us on a dirty weekend and explains all about sidecar trials.